My name is Tariro'S Story. This is my story of how Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa transformed my life. I was married, but life became better when I failed to conceive for the second time. Everybody in my husband's family started complaining to the extent that the marriage broke. I lost everything I had. Then I went and stayed in a one-roomed house, sleeping on the floor for close to 8 months. And my child by then wasn't going to school because of lack of funds. But there's one service when I came to church. Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa was preaching about the widow that went to Prophet Elisha for help. Prophet Elisha asked the widow if she had any resources, and she brought out empty containers. And my Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa was like, what do you have? Obviously, there is something that everybody of you that are suffering are in possession of, that you can actually sell for one to start a new life. I went back home. Despite being on the floor, I checked my wardrobe. I had a lot of clothes. This is when I realized I actually had something. I took those clothes, asked for $1 from one lady from my zone. I went to Mbare, sold everything I had, and left 2 clothes for me to put on. From the sales, I managed to acquire around 250 something US. This is how I started my business up to today. And on that very time I did this, the prophet was holding a conference. It was a couples conference, I remember. Then on the 3rd day of the conference, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa declared that he's ushering people that are serious only into a new job. And I was like, why don't I try this? I went ahead to the altar and sowed a seed. But I didn't know where to get the job because I had not applied anywhere. I received a call 3 days later from one lady who owns one of the biggest beauty parlors in Zimbabwe. And she said, "You've got a job." Then when I went there, to my surprise, all my juniors were whites and Indians. And only one person was my senior as an Indian. I started working. I only worked, I think, for about 1.5 months at this company. And I came again. It was a Tuesday service. Papa said, even if you have a job, you shouldn't be comfortable. I want to usher serious people into their own businesses. I was like, I've only worked for a month or so. And all I want is to raise school fees for my son. But Papa is saying this is for serious people. And when I started my business, like when I sold my clothes, I told myself that my life has to change. And I wanted to give a testimony of my own, because I always used to think that maybe Papa is paying people that are giving testimonies every day. So I was like, until I have a testimony of my own, this is when I was going to believe that whatever the man of God is doing is actually true. Then you know what? I just took this stubborn step of faith. I stopped my job. I didn't even tell my boss that I'm leaving. Then I went into town. I started looking for a place to rent. And my salary wasn't even enough for me to buy the chemicals I needed to start the beauty business. Then I found a place. I bought the little stuff that I managed to buy with the money I had. Surprisingly, the very first month I started working in the beauty industry, I managed to acquire more than 1,000, which was more than enough for me to start taking care of my son and even myself. But one thing I did not move from the one-roomed house because I wanted to make sure that the source of income becomes a bit strong enough to take me into the near future. Then I decided to look for a better school for my son. He has been attending government school all this while and he wasn't performing well. So I thought of taking him to a private school, yet still sleeping on the floor. I took my son to a private school. 8 months down the line, this is when I bought my first bed, which is the one that I'm sleeping on right now. And to the glory of God, I can never stop thanking the man of God, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, who has been feeding me with the word of God, which I managed to convert into peace, into money, into everything. At least today, I'm being recognized, even with the people that rejected me during the time that I needed them most. And I don't blame any of them for not helping me, because I've come to realize that it was God who wanted me to know that He is indeed the God of the rejected. Imagine that today, from those sales that I made of my own clothes, I'm traveling to a lot of countries, not even by bus. I'm seen at the airport twice a month. I do travel on business. I'm a living example of what God can do. I really thank this ministry, the UFIC. May the Lord bless my father, the father that took care of me when my own rejected me. Thank you so much. To every woman that are out there, help is in the word of God. There is always a word to address whatever situation we face. For now, I can say I've become a prayer eagle, and I thank God for that. That's my story.